Over the past 4 years on this channel, you've watched me slowly build my finances, increasing my income, saving most of what I earn, and consistently investing month after month. There wasn't a secret, there also wasn't a lucky stock that helped make this happen overnight. It was just lots of ordinary financial decisions repeated over and over again. And today, those decisions have led me here, buying my first home as a 30-year-old single in Singapore. Let's go through the financial planning behind this $1.4 million property, how I'm paying for it, how much I'll have left afterwards, whether I'll need to stop investing temporarily, and how I feel financially after making the biggest purchase of my life. Without further ado, let's dive right in. Let's go. An update on the property price. If you've watched my past 2 videos on this home buying journey, you remember that my budget was $1.3 million, but that is changing. During one of the viewings, I viewed a different layout for a 2-bed, 2-bath. On paper, it doesn't feel like much of a difference. One was 667 square feet, another was 721. But when you actually head down to the unit, it felt a lot different. One had an open concept kitchen that flowed into the living room, the other had a separated kitchen. I brought my siblings down to check it out with me, and my brother pointed out that one felt like an Airbnb, the other felt more like a home, which I totally agree because houses in Korea are like that, with the kitchen and the living area together. So I went back and recalculated everything. Down payment 25% can be a combination of cash and CPF. That comes up to $355,000. Buyer stamp duty at $41,400. Legal fees $5,000. So total, I need to prepare $401,400. If you're in a similar phase of life planning towards your first or next property purchase, Cashew, an independent mortgage broker, and their calculators really helped me figure all of this out quite quickly. I've also submitted my home loan application with them last week and it was approved earlier this week, so that's great. Now all I have to do is just make the decision on one of the units. If you're applying for a new home loan or refinancing your existing one, do it with Cashew in the month of June and you'll be able to enjoy up to $3,000 cashback. So long as you apply by 30th of June with my link down in the description box below, take up the loan anytime after, you'll be eligible. For those of you who are asking why not rent, I did consider that for a period of time, but personally it just didn't sit right with me because a large portion of the money that goes to rent will be an expense that I'll never get back. Whereas when it comes to buying a home, the $400,000 that I'm putting in upfront becomes part of the equity in the property. Of course, home ownership comes with its own cost as well. My monthly expenses will increase because of the mortgage interest, maintenance fees, property taxes, utilities, and everything else that comes with owning a home. For me, this wasn't just a financial decision. Yes, that played a part as well, but it was creating a home that I could see myself living in for the next few years while building that home equity at the same time and being around people who truly matter to me. When I first started seriously thinking about this home buying journey, it was around July or August of 2025. At that point in time, I think I shared with you guys in July, my total net worth based on my Notion finance tracker was $463,880. And after looking at property prices in the area that I was interested in back then, I could technically make it work, but I wasn't comfortable with it. Buying then would likely mean that I would be liquidating most, if not all of my investments and pausing my investment journey for a period of time, then essentially starting over from scratch again. And that to me didn't feel like the right decision at that point in time. So instead, I moved to Korea for 7 months between November to May of 2026. Part of it was to focus on work and continue growing my income, but I also wanted an answer to a question that I've always had inside of me. Could I actually see myself building a life overseas without family? And after 7 months, my answer is no. I love the independence, but I really missed my family, and I don't want to look back one day wishing that I had spent more time with the people that I love while I still had the chance. Honestly, that regret scared me the most. So fast forward to 1st of June, just earlier this month, I've just crossed the $700,000 milestone. So my liquid cash right now sits in UOB1, $150,000 in there, earning 1.90% per annum, and every month I'll be receiving $237.50 in interest. $73,000 sits in chocolate finance. I earn 2% on the first $20,000, 1.8% on the next $80,000, and with my amount sitting in there, per month I'll be receiving $112.83. This returns is based on chocolate finance top-up program. When it comes to money I know that I'll need in the short term, I generally prefer lower risk instruments instruments that can provide similar to what savings account or cash management products are offering. So people often ask me, why not invest this money into the stock market and sell it when you need it? The reason is because of the time horizon. It doesn't match the investment instruments. For example, if you invest in individual stocks or the S&P 500 index fund, the stock market historically performs well over the long term, and we're talking about 10 to 20 years. Over the short term, it can be very unpredictable. A piece of economic news, interest rate decisions, or even a headline can cause the market to swing several percent in a single day. So if I suddenly need this amount of money next week and the market happened to be down 10%, I'll either have to delay that home buying decision or sell my investment at a loss, which is why I don't invest this amount of money into the stock market. Investing is not just about chasing the highest returns, it's about choosing the right place for every dollar based on when I'll need those funds. So with Chocolate Finance, my money is placed in a managed portfolio, and if you go into the app and view the live account statements, I can also see how my money is allocated across the underlying funds. Like any investment, capital is not guaranteed, and that's something I always keep in mind. But by understanding what the portfolio invests in, mainly bonds, bills, etc., I'm personally comfortable using it for short-term funds. This video is not sponsored by Chocolate Finance. I'm basically sharing where I'm allocating my cash and the mindsets behind it. On top of the top-up program, if the portfolio returns are below that advertised rates, Chocolate Finance will top up the difference. That means I will be receiving 2% on the first 20,000, 1.8% on the next 80,000, subjected to the program's terms and conditions. This is about wanting my home fund to work a bit while I wait to use it. Otherwise, it will be just sitting in a bank savings account, earning 0.05%, slowly losing purchasing power due to inflation. So I don't place all of it invested into a fund. Instead, it's 150k maxed out in UOB 1, and the remaining funds are in this kind of short-term instruments that can help generate returns similar to that of a bank account. If you're in a similar situation looking to optimize short-term funds, I have a referral link that you can use to support the channel if you'd like to. This is the normal link that everyone who uses Chocolate Finance would have, so I'll link it up above down in the description box below. This video has no sponsor, but if you can do me a favor, scan this QR code over here or link down in the description box below. It will lead you to Interactive Broker's landing page, the platform that I use to build my S&P 500 portfolio with low fees and competitive exchange rates. So next, we have my CPF ordinary account with $81,400, which I can fully utilize, and $99,000 in bonds that I'll be liquidating for this down payment. So after putting in $400,000 in down payment, what does my financial position look like after this? I would still have $32,000 sitting in cash, and that is my emergency funds. My investment portfolio will decrease by the bond amount that I'll be liquidating, and after that I'll have approximately $278,000 invested. Honestly, I'm really glad I don't have to touch my core long-term investments because my S&P 500 ETF, Nasdaq 100 ETF, and the Singapore dividend portfolio can all continue compounding. I also sold my Google position last month, which I shared in Money Diaries, realizing close to a $10,000 gains. So that cash is currently sitting in Interactive Brokers and will fund my recurring investments into the index fund ETFs over the next 3 months, which means that I don't need to top up additional cash to IBKR during that period. So from exercising the option to purchase to collecting the keys, the entire process will take around 2.5 months. And during that time, I'll still be earning an income, which gives me time to rebuild cash and prepare for things like furnitures, appliances, and additional fittings that I'll need after moving in. As of filming this, my home loan has been approved, but I have not made an offer for a unit yet. I'm heading for another viewing this coming weekend, and let's see where this journey takes me. But regardless of which home I eventually choose, I think the experience has reminded me that buying a home isn't something that just happened overnight or just because I earn more money, but it was results of years of increasing my income, living below my means, saving consistently that brought me to where I am today. None of it is glamorous because I can't tell you that it was an overnight success, and it really isn't. It was just consistent small financial decisions repeated over and over again. And by doing so, it gave me the option to pivot when life changes and the freedom to actually make decisions that are aligned with the life that I want to build. I think that is what makes this whole journey so much more meaningful. Thank you for watching, and I'll keep you guys updated on whether I manage to secure a unit after this coming viewing. You'll definitely be seeing more of this progress. If you have more of what you want me to document for this home buying journey, let me know down in the description box below. So that's all I have for today's video. Have a great week ahead as usual, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye.